What's up everybody? In this video, we are going to talk about this very little known tool called the Bitcoin Historical Volatility Index. Now, this tool has the ability to predict Bitcoin tops and bottoms. And for those of you who understand how crypto works, if you can predict the tops and bottoms of Bitcoin, you can essentially predict the tops and bottoms of crypto in general. Now, this is not clickbait, and I promise you, I will show you examples of how this works. And if you are not able to stick around for the duration of this video, chances are you're going to miss out on this tool that is going to potentially make you a lot of gains. So make sure you stick around. Now, first things first, let's show you some examples of this chart predicting tops and bottoms of Bitcoin. Now, I want you to take a look at this point right here on the Bitcoin Volatility Index, right there, right? This happened on the 12th of May, 2022. Now, I'm going to go over to a Bitcoin chart. I want you to just take a look at this, right? At the exact same time that the Bitcoin Historical Volatility Index printed a high, the exact same time Bitcoin posted a low. Now, this is just one example. Now, let's go back to Bitcoin Historical Volatility Index and let's take a look at a previous example right here on the 4th of December, 2021 at exactly 11 to 12 a.m., give or take. So on the 11th, on the 4th of December, let's go back to Bitcoin and let's take a look at exactly what happened on the 4th of December. So right there. Right? On the 4th of December, Bitcoin posted a low over here from, after going through this massive dump. Now, those are just two examples of BVOL being able to predict the tops and bottoms. Now, let's get into how exactly to use this tool and how does this tool work, most importantly. Now, in order to use this tool, you're going to want to go on to TradingView, which if you want $30 off your TradingView subscription, make sure you check out my link in the description box below to get $30 off. Now, you want to go onto TradingView and look for the chart called BVOL24H, right? This is the 24-hour Bitcoin Historical Volatility Index. Now, you will see, there is a 7-day Bitcoin Volatility Index, but that is not what we're looking for. In this case, we are only looking for the 24-hour. When you use this chart, the guideline is that you only use this chart on either the 4-hourly or the daily chart. You do not use anything below this time frame or any other time frame other than this. This is the guideline that you want to follow, and you can experiment around with stuff, but this is the best results that I have found, personally speaking, throughout my many years in crypto. Now, after you bring up this chart, the first thing that you're going to want to do is plot out quote-unquote support and resistance lines. Now, how do you do that? Basically, you just go through the chart and you just look for times, look for areas where every time the price hits that exact area, it tends to get rejected. For example, I'm going to use this right here at 12 points. Look at how every time price comes back up to that level, it tends to get rejected, right? At or near the level. Right? This can be similarly applied to, let's say, the support line of 1.89, where almost every time price gets to that level, it finds support. You can say the same for 1.3 right there. So you want to do that, or you could just copy my levels if you wanted to. But either way, once you have these levels in place, then the way that you use this, right, is essentially what this measures is the volatility of Bitcoin, which means that when this is very high, Bitcoin volatility is very high as well, right? As can be indicated from the name. So why does this matter? Well, first things first, you can use this tool to predict when the volatility is going to come to an end. Now, it wouldn't be a stretch to say that the most volatile times for Bitcoin is when it is going straight down or when it is going through a liquidation event. Now, the way that you predict when these liquidation events will end, other than taking a look at the Bitcoin chart itself to figure out where are the key levels that Bitcoin might find support at, you can also use this tool to literally just give you a secondary confirmation and a very strong secondary confirmation as to when the price is going to find a bottom. Because when the volatility hits a very key resistance, for example, 12 points right here. Now, if you were in the private Discord group, I actually genuinely posted about this. Check this out, right? On the 12th of May, I utilized this tool, Bitcoin Volatility Index at resistance. And if it all goes according to plan, this should be it. And right afterwards, right? Just right afterwards, right? We got a 12% bounce on Bitcoin by catching the exact bottom based on Bitcoin Volatility Index. So once the BVOL hits very major resistance, then you would generally expect the volatility to come to a close to end right there. Now, 12 is a very strong level and it is very seldom that you will actually hit 12 points on the Bitcoin Volatility Index, but you can utilize this across every single, resistance level, except for 3. I would consider 3 as more of like support than resistance, to be honest. So at 6, at 9, at 12, and anything beyond that is a cataclysmic capitulation event, essentially. Now, that is like how you use that to predict when the bottoms are going to be in. But what do you do about the support? Now, so whenever Bitcoin volatility comes back to support, you expect some kind of a big move to happen. Now, sometimes it can be very big in the example right now, and as well as like this, but most of the time it is a smaller move. But if you compare this back to the Bitcoin chart, you can still find that it is still very significant. So every time basically that price comes back to support, you want to brace for impact essentially. And this other example right here, which is what I'm going to show you, is when you find chart patterns forming, right? When you see chart patterns forming on BVOL 24 hour, such as this triangle or pennant pattern right here, then you really, really, really want to start bracing for impact, because this is how you predict the largest moves that are going to happen. Now, it doesn't always happen, but when it does, that's something you want to pay attention to. Now, for those of you who are able to get access to FTX or Poloniex, I don't really know how to pronounce that, but say that if you do get access to FTX, then this is a chart that you can trade to like perfection, because you already know when BVOL is going to be at support, and you already know that you want to generally TP at resistances. Now, I'm not sure how this works exactly, because I have not traded Bitcoin Volatility token before, but now that you understand how to use this tool, if there ever, comes a day where you could trade this and profit from this, then you guys know exactly how. And generally, every time price hits one of these major resistances, right, you're going to want to consider that, hey, it is probably a good time to buy in. Now, it is very hard for me to tell you exactly like, oh, it will definitely find resistance at 6 points. Oh, it will definitely find resistance at 9 points. It is very hard for me to tell you that, but this is why I say that this is secondary confirmation and not primary confirmation. The primary thing you should still understand is price action of Bitcoin itself, so that you understand where are the key support and resistance levels where price is going to, eventually find a top or a bottom. Now, one last piece of advice to like just as a bonus for everyone who has watched until this point. And if you have watched until this point, by the way, please comment in the comment section BVOL to show that you are a true one. And you guys are going to get like the biggest tip here. And make sure you like the video as well while you're at it. So the biggest tip is the fact that 60 to 70 or maybe even 80% of the time, whenever Bitcoin Volatility Index comes back to support and it starts making a big move, most of the time, right, statistically speaking, most of the time, price tends to go downwards rather than upwards. Now, that does not mean that when BVOL goes up, price cannot go up, because there are times when, price really takes a very, very massive, just up move. And when that happens, Bitcoin volatility goes up because it measures volatility. But statistically speaking, it tends to lead to down moves. So most of the time when it's at support, that is what I mean when I say brace for impact. Now, final tip that I want to give you guys is sometimes you'll find that even though price is making a very big move, but you'll see that the BVOL does not move by much. For example, now let's say on this move right here, price was actually making a very big move, but you can see that even though price is, making movements, BVOL does not change. In fact, it even goes down. Then when that happens, which means that if, let's say, Bitcoin volatility was doing nothing, but price is going down, that means you want to start looking for longs, because that is a fake move since BVOL is not reacting to it, right? General rule of thumb does not mean black and white, but it is generally just something that I found throughout my years of experience using this tool. Now, if you want to get access to the full trading suite and education, you're going to want to join the private Discord group in the link below. But for now, I hope this video has been helpful to you. Bye-bye.